Karoline Levitt's appearance on The View was supposed to be just another lively debate, a predictable clash between differing political perspectives. Instead, it became a defining moment in media history, one that left viewers in shock, the internet in flames, and Whoopi Goldberg storming off the set in frustration. Karoline Leavitt, a sharp conservative commentator known for her unflinching views, walked into the ABC studio knowing she was entering hostile territory. The View had long been criticised for shutting down right-leaning guests, and Leavitt was fully aware she could be walking into an ambush. Backstage, she observed the atmosphere. Whoopi Goldberg, a television veteran, sat calmly at the panel's table, flipping through her notes and sipping coffee as if she had already won the debate before it had begun. Her co-hosts, Melissa Grant and Jonathan Reed, exchanged laughs, exuding the confidence of those who believed they had the upper hand. Meanwhile, the producers issued Leavitt a subtle warning. Don't expect a fair fight. But Leavitt had no intention of playing by their rules. She had done her homework. She knew the tactics often used against conservatives on the show. Interruptions, misrepresentations, and dismissive laughter, and she was ready. As the countdown to air began, the tension in the room became palpable. The audience was primed to cheer for the hosts, but Leavitt had a different plan in mind. The moment Leavitt took her seat at the table, the mood shifted. Whoopi wasted no time. Why does conservative media continue to push misinformation? She asked, her tone dripping with scepticism. The audience applauded on cue. Leavitt didn't flinch. She simply smiled and responded with a calm but piercing question. Who gets to decide what's misinformation? The question landed like a thunderclap. Whoopi hesitated, clearly not expecting this counterattack. The applause died down as the audience sensed something different was happening. This wasn't going to be the typical takedown they had anticipated. When Whoopi insisted that The View always fact-checks its discussions, Leavitt struck again. Really? She asked, tilting her head, because I can think of multiple instances where that wasn't the case. She proceeded to list examples, false narratives about political figures, misleading statistics, and instances where conservative viewpoints had been ridiculed instead of debated. The audience, usually a reliable force of validation for the hosts, sat in unusual silence. Even Melissa and Jonathan, Whoopi's co-hosts, looked uneasy. This was not the typical script they were used to following. As the debate progressed, Leavitt continued to challenge the hypocrisy of the show. She pointed out that The View often claimed to welcome diverse opinions, yet conservative guests were routinely shouted down, labelled as threats, or given barely enough time to defend their views. Whoopi, growing agitated, accused Leavitt of playing the victim. Oh, come on, conservatives love to claim they're being silenced. Leavitt's response was a direct hit. For someone who says conservatives aren't silenced, you sure seem upset that I'm speaking. Gasps filled the room. The audience, caught between their usual loyalty to Whoopi and the undeniable logic of Leavitt's words, remained hushed. Even Melissa and Jonathan exchanged uncertain glances. Whoopi, clearly rattled, tried to change the subject, accusing Leavitt of engaging in paranoia and conspiracy theories. But Leavitt didn't budge. Is it paranoia, she asked, or is it just inconvenient for you that someone is finally pushing back? The tension reached a boiling point. Whoopi, visibly struggling to regain control, took a deep breath, but the damage had been done. Then came the final straw. Leavitt posed a question that no one at the table seemed willing or able to answer. When was the last time a conservative sat at this table and wasn't interrupted, mocked, or dismissed as a danger to democracy? A silence so profound it felt like the entire studio held its breath. Whoopi, her face a mix of frustration and disbelief, slowly reached for her microphone. With a sharp motion, she removed it, stood up, and walked off the set. The studio erupted not in applause, but in shock. The audience gasped. The camera crew hesitated, unsure of what to do. Melissa and Jonathan sat frozen, caught in the aftermath of an unprecedented moment. Within minutes, clips of Whoopi's dramatic exit began circulating online. Social media exploded with reactions. The internet was ablaze. Hashtags like #WhoopiStorms out and #Karoline. Unfiltered dominated Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Memes of Whoopi's furious departure flooded social media. Conservative outlets replayed the moment endlessly, framing it as undeniable proof of liberal media bias. Even longtime fans of The View expressed disappointment. Some admitted that Levitt had a point if the show truly welcomed all perspectives. Why had the debate ended the moment a conservative fought back? Levitt herself added fuel to the fire with a simple yet devastating tweet. "I thought this was a debate." BBC scrambled to do damage control. The network issued a bland statement calling the conversation more heated than expected and urging viewers to focus on civil discourse. But the spin wasn't working. The footage was raw and unedited. No amount of corporate messaging could erase what had happened. Sponsors began to distance themselves. Ratings for The View saw an unexpected dip. Behind the scenes, network executives were reportedly furious with Whoopi's reaction. In the days that followed, Whoopi remained silent, refusing to address the incident publicly. Her absence from the next few episodes only fueled speculation that her future on the show was uncertain. Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt had become a household name. A poised yet fearless performance catapulted her into the national spotlight. She was invited onto major news networks, where she further exposed media bias and called for more open, honest discussions. For The View, the incident was a wake-up call. It revealed that audiences were growing tired of one-sided debates. For Whoopi Goldberg, it was a humbling moment, a rare defeat in a space where she had long reigned supreme. And for Karoline Leavitt, it was a defining victory, proving that with confidence, preparation, and unshakable composure, even the most lopsided battlegrounds could be conquered. This moment wasn't just about The View or Whoopi Goldberg. It was a microcosm of the larger media landscape, a battle between narratives, a clash between those who control the microphone and those demanding a chance to speak. It exposed a crucial divide in modern discourse. Is the media truly interested in honest debate, or has it become an echo chamber for a singular perspective? For years, mainstream platforms have prided themselves on promoting diverse voices, yet time and again we see how quickly they shut down conversations that challenge their dominant ideology. Karoline Levitt's presence on The View wasn't just another guest appearance, it was a disruption of the status quo. She didn't just spar with Whoopi, she revealed the deep reluctance of certain media figures to engage in real open dialogue. As we reflect on this showdown, one question lingers. Are we willing to embrace true discussion, or will we continue to silence those who challenge the mainstream? Because in the end, the measure of progress isn't in silencing opposition, but in engaging with it constructively. And if Karoline Levitt's performance on The View proved anything, it's that the old rules of media are changing, whether the establishment likes it or not. If you enjoyed the story and found it meaningful, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps us reach more people. We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and the lessons you've learned in the comments below. Your insights could inspire someone else.